Yo, what's going on guys? It's Ryan again. Today we're working on one of the dirtiest shoes I've ever restored on this channel, a pair of Laney 5s from 2013. I paid $20 for these shoes. It seemed like nobody wanted them, so I'm really excited to see how these are going to turn out. Not only are the toe boxes super rough, but the entire shoe needs a repaint. There's many scuffs, and last but not least, these soles are so far gone that they're turning brown. I'm gonna try to bring these laces back, but for now, I'm gonna put them to the side. We can see those deep stains on the mesh and the fraying on the fabric. The rubber usually responds well to unyellowing, so we're gonna tackle this in a later step. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it looks like hay. You never know what you're gonna find inside. We also can't forget the corners, and for that we're just using a tool to, loosen out whatever's trapped in there. Lots of rounds later, this is what we ended up with. We can move on to the insoles. The main goal here is to just break down some of this dirt. These shoes are a great candidate for the washing machine. However, we first need to break down these stains. I started off by using OxiClean White Revive and letting it soak in for a few minutes. Then I just took some soap and water and brushed it in there. And the same goes for the insides as well. For any of these hard rubber areas, I recommend using a brass brush. It's gonna cut right through the dirt. Like every single restoration, we can't go without the shoe trees. I'm gonna pre-treat these laces before we wash them, so I'm gonna use White Revive and a little bit of laundry detergent. And it was shocking to see how dirty they actually were. When everything is good to go, load them inside your sneaker laundry bags, and you guys already know they're going for a cold cycle for 15 to 30 minutes. And we need them to air dry completely. Now we can focus back up on the insoles. For now, I'm just going to break down whatever's left and then use tape to lift it up. I think that's the best we're going to get. Now we're on to the decreasing. So we can take out the shoe trees, stuff the toe boxes, put a damp towel over the area, then we're going to make a few swift passes with a hot iron. And you don't want to overdo this, the excess heat could cause separation. If any areas need to be re-glued, in order for us to get a perfect bond, we have to remove the old glue. The glue of choice is Barge Super Stick. After we apply our glue, then you need to peel off your tape immediately and let it cure for at least an hour. You heat it up to 130 to 140 degrees and you clamp it down. If you guys want to see a more detailed video, I do have a tutorial on my page. This was probably the most fun I've had in this restoration, giving the shoes a lineup. A curved scissor made this process so much easier, especially around the corners. Before we do any repainting, we need to remove the old factory finish, so we're just using acetone. And I also did the same for the netting as well. There tends to be finisher on it. So I wanted to test and see how effective the unyellowing would be, and these are the results. The Jordan 5 midsoles are one of the easiest midsoles to repaint. The paint usually doesn't chip or peel, it mainly fades. If you find yourself in a similar situation, we just need to remove the factory finish and further fade the color down. Angelus has a color match called Royal 5, but I found that it's actually a little bit too dark. I added some white in and some violet. And now we just need to block in the paint. To make this golden color, it's mainly yellow and a small amount of red. You want to use a heat gun to speed up the process. The yellow is going to take a lot of coats, so to remove any imperfections, we need to sand it down. Now we can move on to the blue. With a steady hand, you can balance out these lines pretty easily. Having a micro detail brush will come in hand. During the same time, we can also defog the air units by simply passing the heat gun on it. A pretty cool trick is that if you use a black light, it's going to show you any areas that you missed. After going back, this gives me the confidence to know that we're ready to move on. The white is also going to take a lot of coats, so the goal is to make sure that everything's a nice, consistent color. There's many different techniques you can use to remove the scratches and the scuffs. This method is called wet sanding. So we're gonna lay down a couple coats, and then it needs to naturally dry. We can't use a heat gun. Then we can take a wet piece of sandpaper and sand it in a circular motion. After a couple more coats, we're good to go. To protect our paint job, we're using Krylon Matte Finisher. 2 to 3 light coats is all you need. These shoes are 10 years old now. For soles that are in this condition, it's gonna take a really long time to unyellow. I'm gonna try to go as long as I can, so you guys get an idea. And you just need salon care and saran wrap. And we're using our indoor unit. If you guys want to see a tutorial on how to make this unit, I'll link it above. And this is after 40 hours. And this is after 70 hours. Although it is possible to unyellow these more, I decided to leave it here. When we unyellow these rubber toe cap areas, it's gonna help lift all these deep stains, and using acetone, we can wipe it right off. Because this repaint took a lot of white coats, we need to poke out the thread holes. This is going to give us a more natural and factory look. And we can paint some finisher back onto the mesh areas. Finally, we can lace the shoes up. If you guys made it this far in the restoration, thank you so much, and let me know what you think down below. Take care guys, and I'll see you in the next one.